take questions for Tyshawn?
Well, Tyshawn, just how excited are you to finally get the season started and finally hit somebody not wearing the same jersey as you?
Man, I can't put into words how excited I am. Like, as soon as the end of last season, you got that whole just year of just waiting, like itching, like you can't wait to get back to it. And then especially being my senior year, like I'm so excited. Like I just can't wait to get rolling on Thursday.
When you're going back to a place where you lost and ended your season last year, so is there that motivation factor?
Absolutely, just knowing that they ended our season, it's that extra chip on your shoulder a little bit to, get that game back. But we can't play emotional and be worrying about last year. We got to focus on what we got to do to win Thursday.
Tyshawn, is there any advantage to, you guys have seen them, you've played against them, you have film from the game against them. I mean, is there any advantage, obviously there's some players that are different, but you know what the coaching staff like to do, you know what their tendencies are. Is there any advantage to that now that can help you guys going into this game?
Of course, just having film of them playing against us, of course, is going to be an advantage. And likewise for them, you know what I'm saying? They like what we like to do. We bring back the same coordinators and whatnot. So it's always an advantage two ways, and it's just an even bigger chess match, I feel like, at this point between the two teams.
Tyshawn, there are no bye weeks this week, which is pretty rare for Youngstown State. Does that change the philosophy and how you go about each game week?
Nah, I feel like, me personally, it don't really affect me not having a bye week until the end of the season. It keep you in a routine, I feel like, really. So I feel like as long as we do the things we're supposed to do off the field as far as recovery and nutrition, we'll be fine without a bye week.
How different are these two teams? You guys are obviously way different than you were last year going into this game. When you see them on film, how different are they?
I mean, we only got film from last year, so I can't really say how different they are from last year. I know, what I'm saying, they lost some guys, they brought in some guys, but for the most part, as far as scheme, we feel like they probably going to be the same team with them bringing back the same coordinators and the same, core players. They won't be that much different. It's going to be wrinkles here and there, but we feel like it's going to be the same scheme for the most part.
Now that camp is over and you're into a game week, what's the biggest difference that you've seen in this team, since camp began?
Just us knowing our assignments. Like with it, in camp, we installing everything. We throwing a lot at everybody. Once camp over, it's like that refocus. You know what I'm saying? It's a new energy throughout the team, knowing that we playing for a game now, and like I say, just everybody knowing their assignments and just locking in. I could say the end of camp is like a breath of fresh air, and now we get in the season. It's time to really lock in and focus, and everybody know their role on the team now, and just really get going into the season.
Are you guys locked in?
Absolutely.
Great. Okay. Thanks, Tyshawn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Logan Pascal, one of our team captains this year, so we'll go ahead and take questions for Logan.
How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you? Look, same thing we asked Tyshawn. Just how excited are you to finally get going here and play somebody other than yourself?
So excited. I'm excited to see our guys ball out. I'm excited to see our offensive unit, Bo throw to our wide receivers, Ty run the ball, Desley put someone on the ground, just stuff like that. I can't wait to see our offense run efficiently. And then for our defense, I can't wait for us to stop the run, do what we do best in the special teams, get down there and be aggressive.
Is there a motivation factor because they ended the season last year?
I think there's a motivation factor with every game that we have, but this one just a little bit more. Just get that bad taste out of our mouth. But, yeah, definitely.
Obviously a lot of new faces on the defensive side of the ball for you guys. I mean, how do you feel like from where you guys were and even at the start of fall camp, how do you feel like, you got all the new guys, all the new faces have started to kind of come together on the defensive side?
Yeah, Coach Phillips always preaches connectivity, and that's what all the older guys, leaders preach as well. Just connectivity with the younger guys or transfers, whoever it is. I think we have some 40 new guys. So just being able to talk to those guys at lunch during camp or anything like that, that's what really gets us connected. And I feel like we have a great bond right now, and I can't wait to keep that going throughout the season.
From when you started in camp to game week, what's kind of been the biggest area of improvement, or what have you liked, what have you seen in that time span?
Honestly, the connectivity, being able to count on your brother, the safety behind you, giving you the call, and that D line in front of you, really trusting that, and no BCD is what we call it, but yeah, just not complaining about little things, and that's the thing that we've really grown with, and we've become a team. I feel like the team is really tight right now.
Thanks, Logan.
Thanks, Logan.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys.
Very good.
Okay.
All right.
Coach, same thing we asked the players, I mean, just the general excitement level of being able to finally match up against somebody not wearing the same colors as you has gotta be pretty cool.
Well, we're the only sport in America that doesn't scrimmage anyone. You just play. Even the NFL have preseason. So for us, yeah, is there a sense of urgency? Yeah, you don't go against anybody except your own guys, whether it's spring or in the summer camp. One day we'll catch up to everybody else. But yeah, that sense of urgency until it's 6 o'clock on Thursday night, we'll find out because we get to go against a different color that's not wearing red or white.
Is there a motivation factor that because they ended your season?
Yeah, I don't know motivation. I would say you learn from losses. You had to reflect back and what you could have done better, where you could have done better. So for me, we've done some different things since December, since that loss. Within our program and our strength and conditioning on the practice field, how we practice, what we practice, who we recruit, how we try to build team. It starts with team, and our kids, I hope they talk about that, but it's about being unselfish, and then working on the focus. When you have opportunities, we got one opportunity this week, we got to make it count, and we got to make every day count, and that's kind of been what we've preached all through camp. Make today count. Let's get better as a team. And we have gotten better, but the team will continue to get better the more we play in these games against other opponents. But the sense of urgency is we got to be ready to play number 6 team in the country that is very explosive. And, their last game was, they had South Dakota State. If 2 punts didn't get blocked, that might be a different ballgame.
What have you seen from day one at camp back on July 29th to today? What do you like most about what you've seen?
Well, obviously we're improving, in the fundamentals and techniques and the communication. We told our kids, when we started, it takes 6 to 8 months to build trust and communication. Some kids have only been here 2 months, 3 months. So you don't have that 6. How much can you expedite that communication? So I've seen our kids grow in those certain areas of communication. I think they're athletic, their work ethic. I remember when it's 90 degrees out, not one guy, we didn't cut one rep. We've been more physical at times in camp this year. And, he says BCD, plain, complain, defend. That's the one thing that hasn't jumped out with these young men, and they're battling. They're battling to get on the field, whether it's on defense, whether it's on offense. Bo Brungard might be our starting quarterback, but he better come to work every day. If he don't come to work, somebody's going to beat him out. So, with that mentality, every day you got to compete against the brothers in that locker room because somebody wants to take your place. And I've seen that on both sides of the ball, and I especially see it on special teams because those guys are just trying to get on the bus to the game.
Is there an advantage to the fact that you guys saw them at the end of last year? Like, there's obviously some same players or different players.
Yeah.
But knowing, okay, what the coaching staff tendencies are, having that, seeing how their players line up against your players and vice versa, is there an advantage to having that experience and film for that?
You do, but you realize you played them in December after a season. We're all back to square one, where it's game one, game one installs. What are they doing now? They may have some new players. We got new players. So, you go back even and watch game one of last year, what they were doing then compared to what they're doing at the end of the year. And then you got to be ready for the unexpected. Don't know. Maybe they changed their offense. Maybe they changed something they do defensively or on special teams. So those things, that's why you got to focus more on the fundamentals and the technique, and you got to focus more of what you do. Okay, we're going to give you a good idea who they are. We know what their quarterback can do. He can beat you with his legs. He can beat you throwing the football. We know that. We know they got some explosive receivers. They got 2 great offensive tackles, the center. We know those things, but the new guys maybe they're doing something a little bit different. So, that first quarter, again, I want our guys to, we got to minimize mistakes that happen in game 1. If you watch any game 1s from last weekend, some of them get pretty ugly, right? You see a lot of mistakes. So we got to minimize pre-snap penalties. We got to take care of the football. Our communication's got to be on in our back end. And then in game 1, there's going to be opportunities. And we got to capitalize on it, whether it's field position, whether it's on a special teams play, whether it's off a turnover, whether you're in the red zone. You really, early games, you got to capitalize. And I always believe the team that is playing fast and physical, and the only way you play fast is you know what you're doing. And game 1, sometimes you're not playing as fast as you are game 5 because the kids are doing a lot of thinking. I want to get as much as we can. We got to allow our kids to play as fast and physical as they can right from the get-go.
Is this the toughest game I know it's the next one and the first one, but is this the toughest one from a coach's perspective to prepare for because you don't have film from the current?
Yeah, but, you got to play them 2 games ago, and that's always game 1. That's game 2, game 3. You go through, you have a pretty good idea. Did they change coordinators? Well, they didn't change coordinators. They got everyone the same. Their coach been there 38 years. 38 years. I think I was in 8th grade, 7th grade, but so they're going to do what they do. They got tough physical kids. They're successful. Defending champs. They're picked to win their league again today. So, we're facing a task that is challenging. That's why they put C on our chest and call us a coach. We got to get our kids ready for a great game to go back on the road to a place where they kind of handed it to us last year.
Coach, you have no bye weeks this week. Does that change anything for you personally?
Yeah, it changed how we recruited. That started in December. You look ahead in December and say, you're playing 12 straight games with no bye week in a very physical, the most physical conference in the country, FCS. And then you throw in Villanova and you throw in Pitt. So for us, it was, we had to go out and find depth. We wanted to have depth at running back. We want to have depth at quarterback. We want depth at tight end. Our O-line has been layered over time, and that's because we've had consistency there. My O-line coach has been here 5 years, and you see layer after layer. Someone graduates, next guy steps in, and I think is going to do a phenomenal job. And defensively, we always talk about it takes 22 players on defense to be successful. 22. Not you're starting a lot. You need 22 players. So we knew recruiting, roster management, we needed to do that. Secondly, we're intentional what we did during camp. I going through, what days, when can we be physical? When do we need to lay off? How do we get them to recover? Because as you go through a season, we're going to see that same thing. So our camp probably looked a little different than what it has before, and it's strictly because of that 12 game straight without a bye week.
Doug, the new rules this year where you could have communication, you could have the iPads, are you guys going to take full advantage of that?
Yes, we are. And that was important to our league commissioner. It's important to our league, to be able to utilize the iPads. And, how are they going to work? We've used them in practice. You go to different stadiums, never used it on a game day. We used them in scrimmages, just to get coaches used to them. But that's a game changer. When you can look at film from the previous, series, guess what? There's going to be teams. It's those that can make the adjustments during the game that I think ultimately can dictate the winner or the loser. And, for us, too, I think you have to be a little bit more multiple. You got to have answers. First thing I say when I put my headsets on, all right, gentlemen, we got a plan, but, man, we got to be great problem solvers tonight. because we're going to see something maybe we haven't seen, or maybe the plan we have, guess what? It's not a good one. That happens. And we got to adjust and plan. And I think all that film, that'll help. But, it's not like you got all this time in the world to sit there, but we got to learn how to do it efficiently. And how can that help us the next series, whether it's our offensive line, quarterback, secondary, linebackers, all those things.
Coach, you just mentioned right before we started that Bryce made the 53-man roster. Can you just
Yeah, I mean, guys, that's 2 years in a row. A Youngstown State Penguin has made a 53-man. I mean, guys, that's incredible. I don't know how many people think that's a big deal, for us, and how important and how happy I am, for those guys, Jaleel with Denver and now Bryce. And Bryce that's a loaded wide receiver room with the Titans. But proud of those guys. And our guys see that, and they see the scouts that come to this. We got great football players. And none of our guys, guess what? You got to go earn it. Nobody's getting drafted. You got to go earn it. And to know 2 years in a row, a young man that dressed in this locker room earned it as a free agent and made a team. And I'm proud of him, proud of all of our kids, but that just shows you and gives all these kids what they're working for. You can do it.
Does that help in the recruiting trail?
I don't know if it helps in so much in the recruiting trail. It might help with our current recruits in that locker room, with the transfer portal and all those. I mean, these kids, guess where they did it from? They did it from Youngstown State. They didn't need to go somewhere else to be able to do it. And, for that, but we got to publicize, we got to use all the social media. I mean, to me, that's a reflection, not only on those kids and their families, but a reflection on our coaches and the preparation and the development here in this program.
When you talk about adjustments, you got a new defensive coordinator, you got probably 9 or 10 guys on that defensive unit. I mean, is that the biggest, I don't want to say concern, but is that the biggest question right now heading into the season?
Yeah, and we have a lot of guys that have played football. DeJuan Martin's played a lot of football here. Hunter Allen has played a lot of football. Devin Johnson has played a lot of football. Jalen Kreider's been playing. Now we're asking those guys, it's your turn to step up. It's your opportunity now to be that guy. So we got to lean on those guys. And, did we bring in some guys, a supporting role just to have depth like Joe Brown, or Jabarick Hopkins or Tyler Bukar up front? Yes, we did. Mike Wells has been waiting. I always think that third year is important. Rarely do you see a freshman getting on the field for us. You may see a redshirt freshman getting on the field for us, but that third year is a big year. Mike Wells came in. I love how he plays, but he needs reps. He's going to make mistakes on Thursday, but he's got to be physical, play fast, and guess what? How you respond. Next play is the most important. And the more plays he plays, the better he's going to get. So playing these games, it's going to help the whole team. In the back end, we needed competition. Iron sharpens iron. I wear it on my chest. And, we'll bring in a lot of corners to go compete every day, safeties to go compete every day. And I love what I see. I can't tell you who's starting at corner right now. That's the competition. Every day I come off field, all right, how do we rank them? Who's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but they'll probably all play somewhat, but, who's the guy right now that took advantage of the day that they had? Good. We went through camp, a freak one with Luke Hensley. Hopefully we'll get him returned, by league play. Nothing that's season ending for him. We lost a defensive end early in camp, Ajaya, and AJ we brought in and was expecting him to play, and we're going to get him strong. And I just told him he's got an extra year with us, as he goes through his rehab. So.